Hey folks, it's Tom at FrugalPrepper. I'm reloading some 5.56. I gotta dump all these cases back out and redo them because I noticed that there's some powder on the workbench underneath of it after I did all my powder measures, which means one of these I didn't quite get it. I got some powder that spilled out and it probably has a few less grains of powder. And you don't want too light of a load because that can blow up your gun. And you don't want too much of a load because that could blow up your gun too. A lot of people don't realize that too little of a powder can actually cause a high pressure chamber and blow up your gun. So yeah, just have to be careful. I mean, I looked at them and they all look pretty even. I'm just gonna redo them and be more careful. A lot of times if I get distracted, I pull that shell away a little too soon. I wish this powder measure was a little higher. I might have to get some wood and mount under it and make it a little higher because it's pretty tight to get a 223 under there. And this is just my cheap Lee's powder measure. My other one, this is a Lyman Brass Smith. It's an excellent powder measure, but I keep this for my handgun powder, accurate number 2 normally. And I keep this one with accurate 2230, which is normally what I use to reload 223s. I have an SBR that I like to shoot them out of, and this powder is really fast burning to get maximum velocity out of that bullet in that short barrel. And it works great with my suppressor too because most of the powder has burned off in that short barrel, so it's not left to put a bunch of flames out into the suppressor. It just runs it. I can run it a little longer and it'll stay cooler. Run it a little longer before it starts to overheat. So I really like this powder. But anyway, this isn't a reloading video. I just happen to be doing some reloading. And as far as showing the manufacture of ammunition, I don't know. Like, YouTube has demonetized some of my reloading videos before, and other ones they're perfectly fine with. And from the nearest I can tell, it's when you're telling the exact recipe that you're using in every step in the process. They don't like that. But if you show small parts of the process, if I do it in 3 videos, like say, this is part 1, trimming and cleaning the cases and priming the cases, and this is part 2, dropping the powder, and this is how you seat the bullet in part 3, they're fine with that because they're not all doing it in one video. That's the nearest I can tell. I don't know. It might just be which particular libtard is watching the video and making the decision or whatever. I don't know. I mean, the libtards don't watch them to demonetize it, but they're supposed to watch it when you do an appeal. And a lot of my any gun related video gets demonetized at first, not eligible, and then I have to submit an appeal, and most of the time they then allow it, but sometimes they just don't. So I have pulled off most of my gun content, and just because I didn't know what was coming with the latest gun apocalypse and demonetizing entire channels, canceling entire channels, you know, like the few that I have put back up, I've removed all my Amazon links to, because they have a real problem now with like you having a sponsor or putting links to anything gun related, even though it's available for sale on Amazon. If it's an optic, they technically could demonetize you for that. I don't know. So I removed all those, and I've just put a few of my videos back up to do like a test run to see how it was. I marked them private originally, then I'm going back through. But I've also got a Rumble channel called FrugalPrepper's Guns and Ammo. So you can check that over there. That's where I'm going to put most of my new gun content from now on. But you know, I have like 40 subscribers after 3 months on Rumble. There's just no real ability to get views like that, you know, to get subscribers and views on the Rumble. Alright, let me blow this powder off, make it nice and clean, and we'll make sure we don't drop any more. But I just kind of wanted to do a video and talk to you guys a little bit. I'm going to measure this. I got 22.28. Let's see. These are all a little lighter than 22.3. Let's see. Oh, there's 22.3. Okay. So 283230. That's normally how my scale runs, is that hundredths of a gram spot will fluctuate a little. But we'll go ahead and fill the rest of these up now. You just have to remember to give it a minute before you pull it away. And that's the difference, is this one dumps its powder when it goes up, but this powder measure dumps it when it goes down, and then it dumps it out when you come back up. So I get used to using this one, we're like, and I pull it away as it's dropping back down. But this one, you can't pull it away as it drops back down. You have to just give it a second. Drop all that powder in your case. And I think that's what I did before. But I want to talk a little bit about my son's Honda. So if you've watched my channel, you've seen his car before. You know, I bought him an old 1997 Honda Civic on about 2020. It was his first car, and he's still driving it. Thing's reliable as all get out. It really has no check engine lights or any lights of any kind, and it just runs great. But I mean, I got it from the junkyard. I had to put tires on it. I had to put brakes on it. I had to put a rack and pinion in it. I had to put a gas tank in it. I mean, just all kinds of stuff, right? I put the gas tank in it, but I used his original fuel pump, so you know. And so you know, he ran it out of oil once and blew the engine. I got another engine, freshened it up, put all new gaskets on it, dropped it in there. Just a used engine out of another old rusted out Honda. And I had a friend help me put it in. And since then has blown a head gasket. He had a coil pack failure or whatever. But when I first did his car, the alternator bracket that goes on the back of the motor was broken. And those are really common to break off because the bolts get seized in them. And somebody had broke it off, and then they had put the wrong alternator back on it. It's same connectors, but I guess it was a different year or something. But instead of having a straight piece that came out where the tensioner bolt goes, it had an angled one. And they just did that because it would work with how they broke the bracket to get a bolt through there to hold it. And so I went ahead and got a new bracket off of eBay. And then I discovered, like, oh, this is the wrong alternator. Great. And so we went down to the junkyard, tried to get another one. We ended up getting one, but we had to break the bottom part off because the bolt was seized or something. Something was wrong with it, but we were able to change the top cover with the straight part instead of the angled part. And we got it all back together, me and my friend. And I took the alternator home, I put it on, and it no longer charged. It charged before, but it would no longer charge. So I don't know what happened to it or whatever. But at that point, I've been working on it all day long. I was like, screw it, we'll just go get another alternator. So Advanced Auto Parts was the only one in town that had one in stock that day. So it went ahead and I bought that one. It was like 140 bucks or whatever. I had a little bit of a discount code online. I did an online order for it. And so, you know, here it is like 4 years later. The alternator decides to die the other day. He smelled something burning. Thought it was some wires. He taped them up. They were just low voltage sensor wires going into the timing cover for the misfire sensor. So they weren't what was getting hot. It was the alternator that lives right under him. And the alternator had stopped charging, and then he drove it till the battery went dead. And was like, my car just stopped running and acting funny, and now it won't start. And like his flashers are on, and they're just barely lighting up, like. And I'm like, I pulled up and I was like, oh, he has a dead battery, you know. And so, sure enough, we put the jump pack on it. It starts and runs okay, but I have to pull his battery out and get it charged up to overnight. Then we go back the next morning to get it. I took him and his girlfriend home, you know. And I got up early the next day and we went over before work and got the battery put back in it. It got it home. So that night after work, I go to pull the alternator. I get it pulled out. It is melted. You can see where it's melted inside, and it smells burnt. So I take it back, and I'm like, yep, I'd like to warranty this. It has a limited lifetime replacement warranty. I'd like it replaced. And they said, okay, well, let's look it up. And they look under my phone number, and I don't see anything. And I'm like, I don't understand. I bought it here. Why can't you see it? You know. And they're like, oh, did you order it online? Because we can't see online orders. Yeah. I'm pretty sure they used to be able to see online orders. I'm pretty sure I've had them do that before, but now they can't. And I called a few other stores to see if that was true. And yeah, they can't see online orders anymore, or never could. I don't know. So I'm like, fine. I can't use your app on my phone because it makes you go back and click load more, get down to the date and to try to click on. I'm like, screw all that. I'm just going to go home and look it up on my computer, and then I'll be back. Well, online, they've taken away the ability to see orders older than 3 years old now. So you can't see your online orders if they're more than 3 years old. Now, this isn't a problem for any of my customers that I charged and made money on as a mobile mechanic or just a, mechanic side work. I keep all those receipts. I scan them in, and they stay in my Zoho invoice application, so I can always bring them up. And I keep hard copies, actually. When I file my taxes, I have hard copies of every receipt. So, but this was a personal thing for my son. I didn't make any money on it. I didn't turn it in through the business. So, I don't have a receipt. I don't know what I did with it, So I ended up having to buy another one, and I did an online order through it too, because I got 20% off, and it just is what it is. They're the only place in town that had one in stock again. I went to AutoZone, and they were like, "Oh, we could have it from the hub in Columbus tomorrow." I'm like, if I'm going to get it tomorrow, I'll just order it on Amazon and for half the price. I'm not going to order it from here, I need it tonight. I need to get this done and get him back on the road. He's his girlfriend's only transportation to work. She doesn't drive yet. She has her permit and she's learning, but she doesn't drive yet. And, he's her only transportation, plus he does DoorDash and stuff, so... he needs his car working. And she had that day off, but she had to be to work the next morning. So, we could have had my wife take her or something like that if we had to. But we just decided to, get it fixed and get it done. So I bought another one. I did keep a hard copy and a scanned copy of the receipt, both the online order form I printed off and the pickup receipt where I picked it up. So if that happens again, we'll have it. But it's just interesting. Just realize, like AutoZone, they can go back in and see online orders and in-store orders. And they were scrolling back to like 2006. Advanced Auto Parts does not see them. They don't have the ability to look those up online if you did an online order. And so if you order it online and use the discount code, they don't honor their warranty past 3 years because you can't get the receipt. And that's how they get you to buy another one. So lifetime warranties at Advance are kind of useless to me. I always do online orders because the people in the store usually don't know what they're doing and don't know how to look up parts, and they're like, oh, I just started yesterday, and you know, I know they're tired of making little minimal amounts of money, and they look for better jobs and move on all the time. I don't blame them, but you know, Advance or AutoZone or any of them don't pay their people enough money to work there. They don't pay them a livable wage, so you can't be too upset about that. But it's just easier to look up the part that I need, look through the parts and be like, oh, I need it, here it is, I'm going to order it online, and then just go pick it up. And plus you usually get a discount, and plus you do not have to deal with them being like, oh, I don't see that part, blah, 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 blah. You can just look at the pictures and see if it's the right one. I will say, like, their online ordering pickup process is a nightmare because you have one busy, overrun employee working the register, like 20 people there to look for parts, and the phone won't quit ringing. So a lot of times you're standing there for like a half hour to try to get out of the store with your online order. They need to fix that process. And yeah, I've thought about becoming a professional mechanic where you walk back to the little desk or whatever, but I started to register with them, and then it was a whole process. And then like 4 months later, they finally emailed me that I was approved or something, and by then I had a stroke and shut down my mobile mechanic business. So yeah, I just don't really like dealing with Advance. And I used to say I don't like dealing with Rock Auto because they don't have any ability to call them if you have a problem. But their stuff is so much cheaper. It's almost worth just taking a chance. And you know, every time I've ordered something from them, I've gotten exactly the right part. Exactly. I haven't had any issues. I always open the boxes and check them immediately. I don't let them sit for 6 months till I'm ready to work on it to open the box. In case they sent something wrong, I'll know it right away. They've really been great to deal with. Now their shipping takes a little while, but my brake parts I like to get through Brake Motive on eBay. They usually come the next day to my house, and they're excellent parts. I also get Detroit Axle from Amazon. There's like everything Detroit Axle and ECCP I've ever got has been high quality and good. And Amazon a lot of times has it to your door the next business day, if not the same day. I've ordered stuff before on a Sunday morning, and it has showed up Sunday afternoon. So Amazon's really going to get the rest of their stuff together, and they're going to put places like AutoZone out of business because you'll be able to place an order and it'll come to your house in a few hours. I mean, that's going to put places like AutoZone and Advance out of business. Plus, they always have a cheaper part, you know, like they have one alternator for his car for $115, but they don't stock that one. They have to order it from their hub somewhere else and blah, 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 and it's going to be a day or two. So they don't stock the cheap parts because they intentionally know that if you need it the same day, you'll pay the higher price, you know, and so they don't stock those. So yeah, it's really just, I think AutoZone and Advance are both in a circle to the bottom. AutoZone especially used to be such a great place. When it first opened here in Springfield, we just used the crap out of it. It was such a great place, friendly, helpful people, cheap parts, affordable. It was really nice. You know, you didn't walk into somebody with a pile of books standing behind the counter all grumpy. They were computerized and had stuff organized. It was great, but anymore, yeah, they just have people that don't care about their job, you know. And I don't blame them, because I'm sure they're not paying anything, you know. And I mean, people's living expenses are going up and up, but their pay isn't. So I can't blame them for that. Not the employees. I have to blame the company. But anyway, I just thought I would bring that up. They do not honor their warranties. But I suppose this video is going on long enough. Here's a 5.56 I loaded the other day. I got a bunch of them over here, but I'm gonna put the rest of these bullets in here and seed them in once I check the powder level. And that's all I got for now. I'll talk to y'all later. This is Tom, your Frugal Prepper.